Hey everybody, I'm Elise Massa.
I'm Joel Payne.
I'm Chris Juby.
And I'm Andy Clark.
And this is a Church of the Ascension interview with Resound Worship. Folks, you guys are flying in to Pittsburgh on February 1st. And on Sunday, February 5th, you're going to be helping us lead worship, the musical worship at Church of the Ascension. And then on Monday, you're going to be having a concert. So that's February 6th at 6:30, a worship concert at Church of the Ascension in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So the reason I wanted to get you all together was because a lot of us at Ascension are familiar with some of your music. God of All Comfort, we sang that during ordinary time, I want to say.
God of all comfort, God of compassion, reveal your mercy.
And then All the Earth Was Waiting, we sang during Advent and then Christmastide.
He is joy to the world.
We're singing Alpha and Omega now in Epiphany. And so we're familiar with your music, but a lot of people don't know you. So that's why I wanted to get you together, so people can kind of hear about Resound, hear about you. So why don't you introduce yourselves? Where are you in England? How do you spend your time there? And your favorite sandwich?
Nice. Right, I'll go first. So my name's Andy. So I live in Chester, which is where the history comes from. So a big old beautiful Roman city in the northwest of England, about 20 minutes drive south of Liverpool. So for those of you Beatles fans, I think every American is a Beatles fan. Is that right, Elise?
It's basically rite of passage, birth certificate, and then the White Album.
Sure. Okay. Well, near there, basically. So I do a number of things. I'm on staff for my church. So I'm the music and media director. And also I do a musician, so I do piano teaching, I work in schools, teaching schools, and I'm also a live performer as well. I can do lounge music in restaurants and hotels and stuff like that. My favourite sandwich, man. Do you know I'm going to go bacon and egg? Yeah.
Okay.
Not one I have a lot, but show me a greater combination than a bacon and egg, and I will fight you.
So I'm in Durham in the north of England. I'm worship pastor at my church here, King's Church. And I also manage the publishing company that looks after all of the Resound and Jubilate copyrights, about 4,000 in all. And I've accidentally become a bit of a expert in Christian song copyright over the past couple of years. Songwriter for Resound as well.
Sandwich?
Oh my goodness, bacon, brie and cranberry.
Oh, and brie, that's very specific.
Yes.
Nice. I'm Joel, and I live in Loughborough, which is a town sort of right in the middle of England, not far from Nottingham. And my job is to run the Song and Hymn Writers Foundation, which is a charitable organisation that Resound Worship is part of. And I also lead the Resound Worship part of that. That's basically what I do.
Well, thank you so much for introducing. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us now about Resound Worship. How did it start? What's your mission? All of that.
Great. Well, I'll kick off. Our story begins about 15 years ago, but we're part of a slightly bigger organisation which we can trace back to the mid-60s. And it was an organisation called Jubilate. It was a bunch of Anglican clergymen who noticed all of their youth groups, all the kids were singing the Beatles songs, and then they looked at the songs in church and they thought, well, these don't sound anything like Beatles songs. What can we do about it? How can we create a new kind of sound that matches the kind of music that young people are into? So they did actually produce these kind of seminal hymn books, which when you look back, they don't actually sound that much like the Beatles. But in principle, that was the idea. And then a few decades on, having become really established and prolific hymn writers in the UK, they were sort of looking for a next generation to take on some of their values. And so they got in touch with a few of us who were local church songwriters, most of us worship pastors, just writing songs for our congregations to sing. And one chap, our colleague Sam Hargreaves, got us together and said, well, I've heard they write songs and share their songs and critique each other. Should we do that? So we did. So we started playing our songs to each other and started picking them apart and picking each other apart and building each other back up together. And it became our approach to songwriting, entirely collaborative, always trying to refine and hone things. We began to publish some stuff. And then before long, it became really clear we were not the only local church songwriters writing songs for our congregation, needing someone to just help us and encourage us along. So we have gradually expanded work with other church songwriters. So to say who Resound Worship is now is a pretty vague answer. There's maybe a few of us are more obviously core people, but actually the family extends across hundreds of people and across several continents. So it's pretty exciting.
Tell me a little bit more about like the mission of Resound.
Yeah, so our core mission is to resource local churches with high quality worship songs. We believe that the range of things that local churches can healthily be singing far exceeds the range of things that we'll ever get on like Christian radio or that kind of thing, because there's a sort of niche for what kind of music ever sort of becomes popular and famous in that kind of way. And actually the range of things that the church ought to be singing is far wider. And we're all local church worship leaders. We're all really invested in the local church as our sort of primary sort of field of ministry, not concerts actually, or sort of big stages or anything like that. We are about the local church worship, and so we have sort of dedicated ourselves to writing songs that expand the vocabulary of the local church and bringing the full range of right praise to our God. And we sort of start out, as Joel said, by writing lots of songs ourselves. And I think we've realized over the past couple of years, particularly as the 12 Song Challenge has gathered momentum, that actually just as an important part, a component of what our mission in the world is actually to just empower local church writers who, exist in pretty much every church all around the world, but to empower those local writers to find their voice as well and give expression to the things that God is doing in their particular circumstances that, no one on a huge stage somewhere on a different continent could ever possibly give proper voice to. So we really believe that this mission will kind of maximize the way Jesus is presented in his church. And that's what we're about.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Chris, you were talking about expanding the breadth and the imagination of what the church sings about. And so what have been some of the past projects, any current ones that are being worked on? Tell us about some of those.
They always respond to gaps quite often. I think that's a fundamental thing just to say, is that we always say, what is the church not singing? We try not to just write the same songs as everybody else, because those songs are already there. What can we offer that's actually going to enrich the song of the church? And so we have we've done various things. One was a collection we called Songs for Sundays, which was all songs written for the various liturgical moments that are common across all kinds of traditions, but also written very much with small churches in mind, where we even did a survey and we discovered that the vast majority of churches have a piano, and about half have a guitar, and about a quarter have a drum kit. And so it was more common to have a flute than drums and bass. So we built the songs around what was more typical in smaller churches. We also did an album of ecologically themed worship songs, which is something we produced a few years ago. And that was a sort of journey for us as well, getting our heads and our hearts around all those issues. It's amazing how songwriting is one of the best ways of getting to grips with something, of learning it, of understanding it, of processing it, and trying to express it. So that was really exciting. We've set some 20th century British hymns to new tunes to try and give those a new audience. And the thing we're working on at the moment is a kind of a two-sided project of lament and hope. And we're trying to write two albums at the same time, two collections, one of which is full-on lament, gritty, real, and one of which is full-on hope, confident, assured, excited, and some sort of do justice to both those things at the same time, because we think you should hold those things together in your corporate worship expression. I think that's a quick summary of where we've been and we're going.
Yeah.
And if people want to listen to your music before the concert, or if they don't attend Church of the Ascension and they're watching this, where can they find the music to get to know you better?
I mean, it's mostly all on Spotify and Apple Music and so on. Or if you go to the Resound Worship website, all the songs are on there and you can listen to all of them in full if you want to.
Resoundworship.org.
Oh, yeah, .org.
Yeah. And for many of my friends and those I worship with, we love listening to music while following along with the notes. And so on your website, you don't just provide the MP3s and the WAV files, like you provide chord charts, and you really are resourcing the church. I think you have like the videos, the lyric videos, because churches use those if they don't have PowerPoint. And I mean, you really do try to approach whatever a church's need might be. How could you equip them?
We try. YouTube, actually, that's a good point. YouTube is a good place to find the songs too. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're heading over here in less than a month. And I'm curious, do you have anything that you're particularly looking forward to coming over to the States?
Sure. Well, I'm not sure if it's actually been covered in too much detail before, but about the 12-song challenge, which is something that we do with Resound. So then there's a huge online community of folks who write a song every month. And because they're spread out all over the world, as we've already covered, it's going to be so good to actually meet people in real life who we're friends with online. Now, when I was growing up, my mum and dad told me never to do that. You don't meet people in person that you've met online. However, that's happened a few times now, and they've all turned out to be real, nice, normal, lovely people. So that's definitely one of the things that I'm looking forward to.
So what Andy's referring to, for those of you watching who may not be songwriters, many of you know that I'm a missionary with United Adoration, and we seek to empower artists within the local church, and we host retreats. And so before Resound comes to Ascension, we're going to be hosting a retreat in Ambridge, Pennsylvania, Trinity School for Ministry for songwriters, and a lot of the participants of the 12-song challenge, which again, Andy explained, we're given a theme every month. We write songs, we put it up online, and songwriters who care for the artist, not just can I make this song sound like mine, but really care for the sound of the person writing, gives feedback, and we hone our craft and we hone these songs. And so people from all over the US are going to be flying into Trinity School for Ministry to be a part of this United Adoration Resound Worship Songwriters Retreat. So if that is of interest to any of you watching, there's still time to sign up. But don't go to resoundworship.org. You want to go to unitedadoration.com. I think that's right. I should know my own website. But unitedadoration.com, and then go to events in person, and you can sign up there and meet these guys in person as well. I am so excited that you all are coming in. And again, you'll be with us at Church of the Ascension for Sunday, February 5th, helping us lead us in musical worship. And then Monday, February 6th, you'll be here for the concert. Thank you so much for giving some of your time so that we could get to know you before you come in. And Lord willing, we will see you in February.
Woo.
Looking forward to meeting you.
Bye.